Welcome back to Muscular Dystrophy Warrior. Just like the last video, in every video, a moment of silence for all the fallen warriors who sadly lost the battle to muscular dystrophy. Sending prayers to all those families who have lost someone with muscular dystrophy. Today, I'm honored to welcome Brandon to the channel. Brandon lives with SMA Type 2 and has been married to his wife for 21 years. Their daughter recently graduated among the top of her class and is heading to the University of Michigan this fall to study to become a therapist for teens. Today we will talk about Brandon's journey, interable marriage, family life, and bringing more awareness to SMA. Well, Brandon, thank you for being here today.
Thanks. Thanks for reaching out.
Okay, the first question is, can you tell us about your childhood growing up with SMA Type 2?
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that a lot since we spoke. I had a fairly normal, I guess, childhood. Besides the things like my local school district wouldn't admit me to come to their school, so they actually shipped me out to a special needs program a couple cities away, but that stopped in second grade. Um, and that was when ADA was passed, actually. But I mean, otherwise, the people in my life, they mostly treated me like any other kid. So, I have all the same fun stories about going out in the woods and playing outside till dark. And
Yeah,
uh, I mean, it was fun.
yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds
Yep.
like it. What was your teenage life like with SMA, especially in school, friendship, and finding your confidence?
A lot of that, was built from the early childhood time, the confidence and stuff. So that rolled into the teen years and just kept it up. I've always been pretty musical. So that was always a nice edge to have that um, I was pretty talented in that respect. And I'd be in the talent shows um and I had a lot of friends. So and I had, my same best friend is my same best friend now, from the time we were like 8. So we were involved in these large groups of friends and had a lot of fun. I'd say the later years, because I got pretty sick when I was a junior, I spent a few months in the hospital. At which time my house also burned down while I was there.
Uh,
Yeah, so I
a
came
lot
back.
going on. A lot
What's
of things
that?
going on.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. So I came back to a pretty different situation. We had a mobile home in our front yard while they rebuilt our house. I actually lived in a hotel for a month before that. After the hospital, I went right into a Holiday Inn. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, but so that was around the time the kids started having parties and stuff like that, and I didn't really get to participate in much of that because I was still recovering health wise. But I was involved in the wheelchair hockey league as well at that time. So that gave me a nice weekend thing to do. And I worked at the Michigan Renaissance Festival, which happened to be right down our dirt road. The back entrance was just half a mile down the dirt road that we lived on. So I did graphic arts there and spent a lot of time there just hanging out on the weekends. So I kept busy. It was a different scene than what I was used to, and um, I had a little break after going through all of that, and kind of treated that with liquor. So that
Oh,
was something I had to battle through for a short time, but um, I came out of it eventually.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
During your young adulthood, did you ever think about dating, marriage, or having a family one day?
So I had always dated. My first girlfriend was in second grade. So
Oh,
that was never really an issue that I thought about. Like that, just I always dated. I was always dating somebody. Um,
mm-hmm.
but but when I was getting ready to move out, I was wondering what that might look like as an adult because
Right.
before there are the issues of living at home and having a being able to really develop that sense of personal space that you
Mm-hmm.
can share with somebody. So
Right.
there was a change in what that was going to look like. So I did wonder how that was going to go. And honestly, I was only moved out for 2 months when I met Kendra. So
Okay. Oh,
uh, yeah.
very
Oh,
good.
also you said kids. I didn't really think I was gonna have kids, but the closer that Kendra and I got and the more our relationship uh became solid, the
Mm-hmm.
idea seemed more possible with her.
Mm. Okay. How did you meet your wife, and do you remember around what year or time in your life that was?
I sure do. March of 2005. I was 22 years old. I had been moved out for about 2 months, and she came over to go on a date with my roommate. And
Oh,
yep, yep,
interesting story there.
yeah, yeah. And they hung out for about a week where she was coming over to hang out with him, but uh, it really turned into her just hanging out with me. And
Mm.
eventually they were like, yeah, this isn't going anywhere. And I waited about a couple of weeks and approached him and I was like, hey, man, do you mind? Like, we really enjoyed hanging out when you had her around. Do you mind if we try? And he was cool. And then he wasn't cool for a minute, but he came back around.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like,
So,
no, I don't like the idea.
well, at first he said it was fine, and then I guess I don't know because we were pretty good pretty quick, so I think that just made him have a little short feeling of jealousy, and I don't know, but regardless, he came back around and was like, I can tell you guys are really serious. I'm sorry I got upset, and we're still friends. So
Oh, that's good. That's good. That didn't like turn
yeah,
into a bad relationship,
yeah,
friendship. You know.
yeah, yeah. And actually, he moved out. Me and my roommate moved out in January of '05. He moved out in May, and Kendra moved in.
Oh,
And
they
we haven't
switched.
been, yep, we haven't been apart since.
Yeah. When the relationship became serious, what challenges did you both face as an interable couple?
Um, I don't know that we really thought that we had too many challenges. I guess most of them had to do with the world around us. And I'm
Hmm.
really sorry, but I think my TV is about to make noise.
Yeah, it's
Nope,
okay. Don't worry
nope.
about it.
I don't think it is. Okay, we're good.
All
Okay.
right.
Um, we had to make decisions. We're not actually married. We're just together,
Okay. Yeah.
because I would lose all of my community support.
Yeah, I
Uh,
read that on a magazine, a Quest magazine, saying that, which
yeah,
I found it like a little upsetting. I'm like, why? Like, I
yep,
mean, the first thing with this is just trying to live a normal life, you know?
right, yeah, yep, yep. So not only will they not pay a spouse, but if you
Mm-hmm.
have a spouse, they take their income into consideration. And so in
Yeah.
both cases, we wouldn't, I would have lost it. So
Right.
I would say that was one of our biggest challenges, was that we just decided to not
Mm-hmm.
ever be legally married, which, it's just a piece of paper. So everybody that knows us and everybody in our life knows that we are a stable couple that's been together for quite a long time now.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like
Yep.
it's just you guys are still together. The paper just just two people together. That you guys been together for so long that it's like why need the paper?
Right, right. And then just navigating, like, was she going to work, or was she going to just, be my caregiver? Those were things that came up more later, because I was through one agency when she started, but then I added another agency, so I got more caregiving hours.
Mm-hmm.
So originally she helped me at home, but also was a manager at Dairy Queen. She also worked at a group home for a while. So, um, but eventually, once we had the two services, we were able to go for her being my full time caregiver, which worked out really well, because then she could be a stay at home mom as well.
Yeah. How did your parents and your wife's family react to the relationship? Were there any issues there, or they were like accepting like the relationship?
No, they were great. Yeah, there was no issues. I met her family pretty right away. Her mom actually had dated somebody with a disability in high school as well, so
Uh,
there was no issues there. And my parents were super happy for me to have somebody. And I mean, they were a little, they had the normal reservations about how quickly things moved for us, but it had
yeah.
nothing to do with my disability or anything. So the world around us was pretty accepting. I don't think we ever ran into any judgment of things for until we had a kid.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, that's where the next question will go to.
Hmm.
Did people did people ever question your relationship or make assumptions because you have SMA type 2? Like you were saying, once you had your daughter, there was these assumptions.
Yeah, yep. So um, fortunately, nobody really questioned, like, my ability to be a parent. They had some questions about passing the genes, but we actually had genetic testing done on Kendra to make sure that she wasn't a carrier,
Right.
because then, there would have been, I believe, a 50-50 shot
Mm-hmm.
that we had a child with SMA. And that seemed like maybe a lot for her to take on, both of us. But we did have that done. And so, our daughter has been educated on the fact that she is a carrier, and we'll have to, um, you know, look, think about those things when she wants to have a child. But
Right.
uh, uh, so some of that had to do with judgment of passing those genes further. And
Mm-hmm.
then there was another friend that thought that basically I was not going to live long enough to parent her. And that, you know, how could I
Yeah.
do that to somebody, have a kid and then die on them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
um, I pretty much had to explain to him that that wasn't the case. But
Yeah.
and then it was okay. But I don't, it was really weird, because we had been friends for a long time, so it was super weird to hear that he had said that.
Yeah. That he had his that opinion. After
Yeah,
several years of friendship, why he
yeah,
bringing it now?
right. Or that he even thought that that was, like, a possibility. That, yeah, he's like, you read online, and the life expectancy, and I'm like, dude, you're already my friend past what online says I'm gonna live. So how do you
Right.
not think that that's probably wrong online?
Right. I know, like, if you Google anything like muscular SMA, it's a lot of things about the individual. Sometimes
Yeah,
we're the one who know more than
right,
online, you know.
right.
What was it like becoming a father while living with SMA type 2?
Um, it was great. I mean, I didn't. I we had a daughter, so I was. I got to do the dad, the girl dad thing, which I love, and and at the time I was just strong enough to be able to hold her, which was nice.
Yeah, you got to
Uh,
experience the fatherhood stuff and, like you said, father
yeah,
and daughter relationship.
yeah, exactly. Actually, that was a factor in us not having another kid was that I wouldn't have been able to be as physically involved
Right,
by the time we thought about it, and I didn't think that'd be good for the bond. So that's part of the reason we stopped at one. But yeah, I got to do everything. I was even the one that got her riding her bike because I was able to just position myself in a way to drive alongside her and hold the bike balanced as she figured out how to. And I've never ridden a bike in my life, but
right,
I'm like, as soon as you start feeling what it feels like to have that balance, maybe it'll click, and it did.
right.
So I get to claim that I taught her to ride a bike.
Yeah, you guys figure it out how to make it
Yeah,
happen, you know.
yep. And then it was really cute because back a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, they did the Smash SMA online campaign, and
Hmm.
you'd smash something and some people would donate. Do you remember that, or are you too young for that?
No, I don't think I remember that.
Okay, well,
Probably I was still young still, because I'm right now
yeah,
I'm 26 right now, so probably
yeah.
I was still little,
Uh,
probably I guess.
it was around the time of the ice bucket challenge for ALS. Did you see any of
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah, I did
Okay.
see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah,
so it was Smash for SMA. It was the same kind of thing. And she made a video and she was talking about all the things we do together. And then she'd just say, it's just a little bit different how we do it. So she was like, we
yeah,
play basketball, we play hockey, we ride bikes, like all these things. And I was like, yeah, exactly. It looks different, but it doesn't feel any different.
right, right. What challenge did you and your wife face raising your daughter, or were there no any challenges you guys faced like over the years?
None really, not related to SMA anyway. Hey, I'm doing an interview real quick. Thanks. That was my kid. Sorry.
It's okay, don't worry.
uh, yeah, I mean, again, the challenges were just related to like the paperwork and the legality of not being married, and so like I tried to call in for her one day, and they're like, "Oh, you're not on the paper. You can't call in for her," and just
Yeah.
just those kinds of things, and
Hmm.
but otherwise, I mean, there really wasn't like the community where so we moved where we live now in 2017, but before that we were in the community that both Kendra and I grew up in.
Yeah.
So people knew us, they knew her. There was already no judgment there because people knew me for who I was. And like I said, I had done, plenty of friends and experiences of any normal kid. So people
Hmm.
tended to treat me that way to begin with.
Right, because they were so used to you You
Yep.
know, you grew up there, so you kind of knew everybody basically.
Yep. Yep. And then when we moved out here to Oxford in 2017, it's she was old enough and we got along with her first few teachers, so all of that it went well. And the issues that we had out here had more to do with the school district itself than anything related to SMA. So
Oh, why do you think interable relationships are still misunderstood, even though they're becoming more visible, more common? You know.
I think that a lot of people didn't have the kind of experience I had as a child or a teen or whatever. And I think that there's still a lot of old world views that we can't do things.
Right.
And, the especially when it comes to guys, there's the misogyny of having to be the provider and things like that. And you're just viewed as not being able to do that because of your physical capabilities when really, there are people that could become so rich just based on how smart we can be and things like that. If only
Right.
if we were even allowed to work as much. But
Mm-hmm.
I think really that's what it has to do with is just that expectations of what people are supposed to provide and how the world can see us as useless and whatever.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Do you feel society is starting to see past disability in relationships, or do we still have a long way to go?
We have a long way to go because I think before they didn't see it at all.
Right.
So now that we're online as much as we are and whatever, like it's out there. So we're just at the beginning stages of it being as visible as it is. And there are all these great shows like Love on the Spectrum and things like that that are bringing attention to dating with disabilities and maybe that show doesn't have a focus on interable, but at least it's getting the ball rolling. And um, the next step is to really show how we do contribute because I for the longest time our balance was she could physically help me with things I couldn't do and all these things, but I was emotionally supportive and strong in a lot of ways, and that other people aren't, even not necessarily her, just people in general. So
Right.
finding a partner that can really support you and help you be who you are, that's the most important thing for a relationship, rather than who's the breadwinner and
Yeah, 100% agree.
right, who's changing light bulbs.
Right. What advice would you give someone with a disability who wants love, a relationship, or a family someday?
Keep trying. Always keep trying. Always be yourself. Always be honest right from the start. Uh, don't worry about your disability because the right person is going to love you regardless. So it's important to not mask anything um and like I said, don't give up because they're out there. I mean, like I said, I've dated my whole life, and that
Right.
was, and I live in a rural community. So, if I could find 10 people or whatever over the years, then they're out there, and there's plenty. It's just you just got to keep trying. You got to be willing to go through the pain of it not working and
Right.
and all that too. So, but I mean, honestly, that's nothing compared to other things that we go through, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So,
like. Yeah, I like the advice. One last question: what do you hope people learn from your marriage and your story?
hope that people learned that we can do things. And I like to say it that way because it doesn't have to apply to one specific thing, but just in general, if you want to get out there and do something, you should just try. What's
Right.
important to you, you should try for it. Uh, it does matter the kind of support you have in your life, but if you don't have the right support, then that's step one. You find the right support.
Yeah.
If you got to take it back into the basics, you do that and then work your way up. It's always going to be a ladder and you need the strong foundation, but you know, whatever you want, you should just go for it. What else do we have? Like, we get one try, right?
Right. Not a million. We have one shot at it. And
Yeah,
I mean, if we make it work, we make it work. If not, we move to the next one.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and for sharing your journey with us. I truly appreciate your openness, willingness to talk about your life, your marriage, your family, and your experience living with SMA Type 2. Your stories are a reminder that love, commitment, and building a family are not defined by disability. I hope this conversation helps bring greater awareness to interable relationships and shows people the importance of seeing the person before this disability. Thank you again, Brandon. I wish your wife and your family nothing but continued happiness and success. And to everyone watching, thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this interview so we can continue spreading awareness about SMA, muscular dystrophy, disability in general, and interable relationships. And like always, you guys, MD Warrior out. Until next time.